On this episode of Survive and Thrive 8791, I welcome two-time leukemia survivor Jessica Salmonowicz to the Buck and Honey's remote studios. After her first diagnosis in 2011, Jessica fought her way back with the support of her family and the man who would later become her husband. Then in 2024, she faced the unthinkable. Leukemia returned. Now, Jessica is turning her fight into purpose through Team United, raising awareness and support for Blood Cancer United. You won't want to miss this inspiring conversation. This will be a good one. Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What is up wherever you are, whatever you are doing? I hope you're having a great day. Welcome to another episode of Survive and Thrive 8791. I'm your host, Coach Decora. We are in the Buck and Honey's remote studios on the east side of our great capital city of Madison, Wisconsin. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and YouTube at Survive and Thrive 8791. You can follow the podcast and get access to previous episodes on all of those platforms at Survive and Thrive 8791, the podcast. Don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe button wherever you listen to the show. Leave me a comment if you like what you heard. If there's a topic or you know a guest who would love to share their story, email me at tdecora@gmail.com. Glad you could join us. Our mission is to share stories and conversations that make you cry, laugh, and think, stimulating emotions, creating laughter, and inspiring the mind. A new episode will air on Monday and Thursday morning, featuring a wide range of guests. The podcast will touch on many subjects such as, but not limited to, grief, loss of a loved one, recovery, professional setback, mental illness, success despite challenges, etc. Our guests will share how they learn to survive and thrive. Before I introduce our esteemed guest, I'd like to highlight our website, surviveandthrive8791.com. You can see what we are doing and the events we are hosting. If you are a business or an advocate for mental health and recovery, we invite you to partner with us through sponsorship opportunities. Please contact us at surviveandthrive8791@gmail.com. This is our guest and episode intro. And according to the internet, and the internet is always right, correct, Jess?
100%, definitely.
100%. Well, in my house, in my crib, I don't need AI. I don't need ChatGPT. I don't need Google, Alexa, Siri. Yeah. I have my wife, Sarah.
Oh,
and she's always right.
100%. Again, 100%.
100% in your house as well? Is Jess always right?
Oh, gosh. No, I have a lawyer husband. So.
You have a lawyer husband and two young kids.
And two lawyer children as well.
And two lawyer children, yes. Okay. Well, according to an AI or artificial intelligence overview, getting diagnosed with leukemia twice in a lifetime is rare, though the likelihood varies significantly depending upon whether the second diagnosis is a relapse of the original cancer or a second unrelated primary cancer. Today's guest has been diagnosed with leukemia not once, but twice, and we're proud to say she has come out victorious twice. Woo. She has kicked ass twice. Kicking leukemia's butt. Today, I welcome Jessica Salmonowicz to the Buck and Honey's remote studios. Jess grew up in Hartford, Wisconsin, and attended Hartford Union High School and is a proud Oriole. After high school, Jess would take her talents to St. Norbert College in De Pere, Wisconsin. She would start her professional career in education, teaching in the Milwaukee area. She would leave the classroom for a slightly different educational field at Epic Systems in Verona, Wisconsin. Today, I'm so glad you could join us. Jessica Salmonowicz, what is up?
Not a lot. Just loving life.
Just loving life.
Yes, yes.
Try to say, those of you that are driving to work right now or on the treadmill, try to say Jessica Salmonowicz 5 times in a row. See how many times you can get that out.
Oh, I can't even do it. I tell everybody, I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking. I had a 4-letter last name before I got married, and then I switched to this.
Married. That's a perfect lawyer's name, I think, is Salmonowicz and Johnson and whoever else is in there.
Have them up on the wall, the placard.
And by the way, what is your maiden name?
Sen. S-E-N-N. I know.
S-E-N-N.
So easy.
Well, you stayed in the S's, though, right?
That's what I love. My initials, Jessica Elizabeth Sen, Jessica Elizabeth Salmonowicz, they stayed the same. I had to make sure that happened.
Oh, yeah. Kind of an aha moment right there. Jeepers. How has the first part of the year been going? Like New Year's resolutions, have they stuck? Do you make resolutions?
I have found in my life I cannot make resolutions, because then all I do is fixate on how I'm not meeting them. So I have actually not put any forth. The one thing that I have said is my husband and I are both working on not being on our phones as much, which I think everybody could go for a little bit of that. But I'm doing okay. I've been reading my book and listening to my audiobooks. So I feel like that at least I'm doing that.
Well, we've got something in common there. When we moved to the east side to get closer to our grandkids and our oldest kids, and actually now our youngest kid, I have about a 25 to 30 minute commute from the east side to my job in Wanakee.
Yeah.
And I have gobbled up, chewed up, and spit out about 100 books in the last, probably going on 3 years now, 4 years.
There you go.
I love audiobooks.
Fiction, nonfiction?
I am a story and live story memoir kind of guy.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm into a Betty White one right now.
Okay.
Love Betty White.
Oh, yeah. You'll have to tell me about that. I got to write that down.
Oh, yeah. Ironically, this is fun fact. She married a guy by the name of Alan Ludden, and he created this show called Password.
Oh, yeah.
And I found out reading or listening to the book that Alan Ludden was born in Mineral Point, Wisconsin.
No.
Which is crazy. And then he passed away from some cancer in 1981, and he is buried in Mineral Point, Wisconsin.
You're kidding.
Yeah, fun.
Small world.
Small world. Speaking of small world, are you looking forward to the spring?
Yes. Oh, so much. I have the very amazing privilege of getting to go to Japan for my sabbatical.
Really?
Yeah. So my husband and I are planning, well, I should say Bill, my husband, is planning our trip. I am just going to be a follower, but he's planning our trip for to see the cherry blossoms in Japan. So I'm very much looking forward to spring.
If you didn't want to go that far, you could go to D.C. and see the cherry blossoms as well. I've heard they're really, really cool there. But let's back up for a second, just because I'm enamored by the people that I know that work at Epic.
Yes.
That have that ability at a certain time frame in your work life that you can take a sabbatical, or they say you're going on a trip.
Yes.
We don't care where you go, you're going to go.
Yes.
Talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, and that's something that Judy Faulkner really believes, is this idea to get out and learn about other cultures and see how other people live. And it's a phenomenal learning experience. It's fun, and we work our asses off all the other times. So, it's nice to have a little break and explore while also learning something.
I was going to say, when does that take place? At the, you got a month in, we're sending you somewhere, or is it 10 years? What is the time frame?
So it's every 5 years. At 5 years, you get to go with 2 people for 4 weeks. You can split up the 4 weeks. And then when you're at 10 years, you can take 4 people again for 4 weeks, or you can split it up into 2. So we're going to go for 2 weeks because my husband has to work, and,
You got kids?
Children, yes.
Or are you taking them with?
We are not. We're actually going with some friends of mine from college. They're huge Disney fans. So we're going to go to Tokyo Disney, and they're huge Pokemon fans. And my husband's really into Pokemon Go. So, yeah, he's a 41-year-old child.
That's interesting that now I've been talking to several guests on here, and then, of course, it makes me realize that I might be getting a little bit older when I've got 30 plus 40-year-olds that are Pokemon fans and gamers. Yes. And it all sounds cool and interesting, but yeah, I get it. Before we get into your story, I need to talk about our sponsor. Our sponsor, Buck and Honey's Restaurants, are a place that people can escape to. For me, it's a great escape from cooking dinner. Mm-hmm. Do you cook dinner? And if so, genre, style, or cuisine? Because I'm kind of a foodie.
Yes, I love cooking dinner, and I try to have a variety. So if it were up to my kids and my husband, we would have tacos, spaghetti, chicken, and pizza every night of the week.
You had me at spaghetti.
I try to have some variety. I try to make, so at Epic, they have great culinary food. So I try to mimic some of those foods with some, like Buddha bowls and things like that. But they always want me to go back to the classics. So maybe you and I can cook for each other one day, and we can actually cook something fun and exciting.
With their great food and drink menu, 5-star customer service, and a welcoming and vibrant atmosphere, people keep coming back with locations in Sun Prairie, Monona, Wanakee, and Mount Horeb. Most communities in Dane County, which encompasses the Madison metropolitan area, can get to a Buck and Honey's within 10 to 15 minutes. Drum roll. That's my very acoustically sound Menards plastic table. Question of the day. Have you been to Buck and Honey's?
You know what? I'm very excited to say that my first time is going to be next week.
February 19th. So those of you that are listening, mark your calendars. You can see Jessica Salmonowicz and Associates at Buck and Honey's in Monona. That's going to be your kickoff, and we're going to talk about the campaign a little bit, so that's a little bit of a teaser.
Yes.
But other than that, you have not been to Buck and Honey's.
It's on my list. It's been on my list. We talk about it all the time when we're training at Epic. We say, go check out Buck and Honey's.
When you do go, you're going to walk in, and it's 5-star when you walk in, 5-star food, but the prices are about 2 to 3 stars. It's very reasonable.
Yes.
And they do a great job of making it look great, and then the food is great and at a reasonable price.
I love it.
Love it.
I'm excited.
On the podcast, our guests follow the format for sharing their story like this. In segment 1, we talk about what was it like, Jess's history, what happened to get Jess on the show or the podcast. And in segment 2, we continue to talk about what happened and get into what it's like now. And we discuss Jess's 5 suggestions for thriving. You grew up in Hartford, Wisconsin, kind of a burb sort of Milwaukee, graduating from Hartford Union High School, and you are a proud Oriole. Tell us about what life was like growing up in Hartford, Wisconsin.
Well, I always was angry at my parents because we lived out in the fields.
Out in the sticks?
Yes, out in the sticks. But we did have a lot of land, and we just would go cruising through the fields. There was my neighbors across the way, Emily and Hannah, similar age to me, and they had beautiful house with tennis court and swimming pool. So I would hang out at their house all the time, and we'd party and get into shenanigans, the three of us. And my older brother would always try to, come and bother us and get in the swimming pool, even though he was mean to us, But we had a great time out there, and played soccer growing up and played tennis with them, and just really had a pretty innocent, typical childhood growing up with my little play set in the background and riding my bike in the circle and all that fun stuff. So
I could see where it might get a little dicey when you have to, maybe you got sick of playing with the neighbors and you said, Mom, Dad, can you take me into town and go, play? And then as you get older, you're probably running back into town, and they're really a taxi service at that particular point. And then they were probably high-fiving each other when you turned 16, right?
Yes. And my birthday's September, so I'm old for my grade. And so I was one of the first to get my license. And so I would, leave from Richfield to drive to Hartford, and on the way I was picking everybody up. I had a little cup.
I was going to say, do you have a little cup jar, or
yes.
a little jar for gas money?
Yes. So they would just throw some coins in there. That was back in the day when it was 99 cents a gallon for gas. I think at one point I put 96 cents.
You just aged yourself.
100%. Oh my gosh, those were the days, though.
Those were the days.
Yes.
Tell us about your family then growing up. Mom, you kind of already sprinkled your brother in there. Talk about your mom and dad, and then if you want to spin some yarns about your brother in there as well.
Yeah. So although the four of us make up our immediate family, my brother's 2 years older than me, but I'm the mature one, as everybody always says. And my parents worked. My mom was a lab tech, and then she became a supervisor. My dad worked his whole career at Randall Schmidt, he was on the printing press, and then became a supervisor there. And then he went into the apartment business, so just started managing apartments. He was able to, quote unquote, retire when he was 48 and went into, he worked his butt off for 30 years, and then he went into apartments. So that was fun. I spent a lot of time in my high school years painting apartment buildings and
kind of a fix it man.
Yes.
Jack of all trades.
Oh, okay. He does it all. He still does it all, which is like, slow down, Dad.
So when you talk about your mom and the tech stuff, she was probably then curious when you went to Epic.
Yes, she was very interested in me going into a healthcare field. A lot of my aunts are in the nursing field as well. So there was kind of that connection.
You have a family of your own, husband, Bill, 2 sons, and a cat. Let's spin some yarns about them.
Yeah, and we also have a dog. We have a new addition to our family.
I need that button on my thing that says, "Aww." Is it a puppy?
Yes, her name is Sunny.
Sunny.
Yes, she's a Cavapoo, and she's adorable, and she's a snugglebug. But yes.
Let's get back to the important people first.
What, she's not the most important? So yes, Bill and I have been together since 2010. We met on the soccer field. It's just, it's kind of, the perfect love story for us soccer players. And in 2015 had our son Will, and he's now 10, which kind of blows my mind how fast the time goes. And Wyndon is 8. So
they grow and it goes up like a dumpster fire, how quick it happens.
Yes, I can't even, I blink and they're having mature conversations with me.
I love well, first of all, we talked about this off air. Your oldest son, Will.
Yes.
And that's my oldest son is Will.
Yes.
And then I got a kick, not a kick, but I thought it's cool that your youngest son's name is Wyndon.
Yes.
What's the story behind the name?
So Bill's from outside of Detroit in Royal Oak. Okay. And so we go back and we drive over there occasionally. They come to us more now that we have kids. But when I was pregnant with Wyndon, we were driving 7 hours back to Michigan, and we were trying to pick out a name. And Bill was driving, and I sat on my phone, just scrolling through.
Because you have 7 hours.
Because you have 7 hours. Spent 7 hours going through every W name that could ever exist. And we wanted something that was unique, but also wouldn't be, difficult.
You wouldn't get bullied.
Exactly.
Or be difficult.
And so when we saw Wyndon, we were like, oh my gosh, all I do is win, 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 no matter what. And it kind of just landed there.
I'm sure there's people driving to work right now and thinking, okay, you're driving 7 hours and you just happen to look up at one of those green exit signs and it said Wyndon. I was waiting for that.
No, that would be great. That would have been a great story, but we were actually going to go with Winston. Have you watched...
Winston Churchill?
No, oh my gosh, I can't believe I don't know the name of this with Jess. New Girl.
New Girl, okay.
Winston is one of the characters. He's
that
phenomenal.
Usually when I hear the word Winston, I'm thinking he's either your driver.
Yes.
Or he's your butler.
Yeah, or your president, or your... Supreme Leader, I guess.
Supreme Leader, yes. I wasn't thinking Supreme Leader, but I was thinking butler.
Yeah.
And the cat, we've got a fun fact. Maybe you should bring this to the podcast because your friend, who we will talk about in a little bit, we recorded before, and there was a fun fact with her.
Yeah.
So maybe we're going to bring to the podcast a fun fact. What is the fun fact about the cat?
So Henry, and his full name is Sir Mr. King Henry Meowington the Third, even though he is the first.
I'm not going to ask you to spell that.
Yeah, exactly.
Or say that 5 times as fast as you can.
Yes. So when I first started dating Bill, he already had Henry. So Henry was his first love. Henry is now 16 years old.
Was Henry had to be like a kitten? Was he close to that?
Yep. So Bill adopted him when he was just a little kitten, and
you had that button again. Aww.
Adorable. And
Yeah.
now he's an old man. And Sonny has actually revitalized him. When we got the puppy, he kind of, he got a little more energy.
Was that like, was it like oil and water at first, or did they take to each other right away?
They took to each other right away. Pretty cool. I was really impressed. And Sonny's about the same size. Sonny's about 14 pounds, and he's like 11 pounds, something like that. So
Have you found them balled up on the floor together?
I do have a couple pictures I can show you of them.
I have to put that on the promo.
Yeah.
Sports played a large role in your life, both in high school and college. Mm-hmm. Talk about that.
I just feel like everybody needs to have that team environment. When I played soccer in high school, I immediately had a group of friends, a group of people that had similar goals to me, had similar...
Quote, pun goals.
Yes, too. Very nice, very nice. And the same thing happened when I went to college. My friend from college or from high school, Nora, was going to St. Norbert, was talking to the soccer team, and the coach came and watched one of the games and actually came and talked to me after and said, "Hey, you got any plans for college?" And I was like, I don't think so. He's like, "Come on up to St. Norbert." And so we went up earlier than the rest of the student body to start training and just built a new family within a month. And just some of the best memories of my life have been in sports.
Some big sisters, once you got to campus and they could tell you what classes to take, what professors to avoid.
Yes.
Where to go on a Saturday night, etc.
To the library, Tim.
To the library.
There actually was a bar
I was
called the
going to
library.
in downtown on campus, there's the library at UW.
Yes.
I've been to St. Norbert's once, and I went up there to watch a good friend's son play on the football team. The facilities are phenomenal.
Yeah, they weren't always that way, Tim.
They weren't always that way, but because you have the Packers right there, did they kick in a lot of money for some of the facilities at all?
I'm sure they have a partnership, and to be honest, I don't really know what it is, but what was really cool was 1 year, I think it was my sophomore year.
When you guys were training, they were probably around, right?
Yeah, and we actually went and trained at that indoor facility that's right across from Lambeau. What is it called? The
Hudson Center?
Yes, the Hudson Center. Our coach, Chad, got hooked up with an opportunity, and we went there and had a practice, and then he played. That was when Eminem's, Lose Yourself, when that was coming out. So he huddled us all together. We listened to that.
I can hear it now.
Yeah, it was pretty motivating.
You would transition from education in a school district to education in the corporate world. And we talked a little bit about that, but you're going to mention kind of how that went about. So talk about that education piece right out of college, and then when you made the move. Talk about that.
Yeah, so I started off as a Spanish teacher, and I love the language, I love the culture, I love all of that, and so wanted to bring that to the children as well, the kids. And so I was teaching and really loving the teaching aspect, being with the kids, traveling with the kids, doing all of that fun stuff. But I was at a technology conference a couple years into my career and was kind of trying to think about what other options might be out there for careers. I think things got, you kind of get worn down after so many years of all of the politics and all of that fun stuff that also come with education. And one of my friends said, "Have you heard of EPIC?" And I said, "No, what's EPIC?" And so I did a little bit of research, and I was applied for a job in Verona and talked to my husband about moving to Madison because we were in the Milwaukee area. And he was a little bit like, "Okay, well, I'm not super happy at my job. I'm ready for a change." And so we just, took the leap and moved, the two of us. And, the rest is history. I've been at EPIC for 10 years. So I was teacher for 10 years, at Epic for 10 years. So I'm not planning on leaving Epic now that it's 10 years. I don't have some sort of end date.
Grand plan.
Yes, exactly.
Well, so one of the things that I've heard is that Epic, when they, maybe when they're looking at resumes, hey, let's look through a resume. Whoa, we got a person that was a teacher. Epic, I have heard some people go from the teaching world to Epic, and there might be some kind of little hidden gem in there. Is there? Do they love hiring former teachers?
I mean, former teachers know how to teach, right? And they know about even though you're going from kids to adults, a lot of those principles are the same.
Adults are just really older kids.
Yes.
I heard.
They still get very distracted. Yes. But yeah, they know how to present, right? Teachers know how to get up in front of a crowd and make a fool of themselves and, have some fun with their audience. And so they're already got that built-in talent, and Epic recognizes that, which I love the kind of philosophy that Epic has. It's like, have a college degree and have these other skills that we can harness and use to help.
Teachers can perform and hold a crowd and and can read the room really well.
Exactly.
So all of those hidden talents that as teachers have. Let's go back for a second. And we're going to start to talk about the real reason here why you're on the show is because of not just one, but two diagnoses with leukemia. And I'm familiar with leukemia in that I had a childhood friend who then, because of marriage, was probably sort of a cousin of mine, distant cousin, that had gotten leukemia and passed away in fourth grade. And we all had to attend the funeral, and it was not good. But because of some of the fundraising that has gone on over the years, what used to be maybe a death sentence is now, and you're proof of it, that you can get a leukemia diagnosis and then not survive once, but twice. And it's because of fundraising and searching for a cure and treatments and different trials that people can survive this. But what helped you survive, as well as the treatment and the care that you received, was the outpouring of support from your school family, extended family. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I got diagnosed on Black Friday of 2011, and so we were on our Thanksgiving break from school, and so everybody had a couple days off, and I went in, got a blood test on Wednesday, and by Friday I was admitted into the hospital for ALL, acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and I called up my really good friend Nina, who was across the hall from me. She's a history teacher, and, told her the news, called up my principal, and the immediate outpouring of support from my students and from the teaching staff it blew me away. I received like a folder full of cards that the students had written, and they immediately started a campaign. So this t-shirt was designed and
kicking leukemia's butt. And there's a ton of signatures on there.
Yeah. So these are all students of mine and teachers that they sold these and raised some money, and they really took care of me. And I was...
By the way, I'm getting kind of emotional now because of hearing that stuff. Unfortunately, being in the education field and having parents and things happen to kids, just that outpouring of support, people come out of the woodwork that you didn't even know existed, that just wanted to help.
Oh yeah. It was, like I said, it blew me away, the level of support that I had, and it bolstered me up when I was at my lowest point.
When you were down.
Yep.
I'm going to hit the rewind button here for a second. So you went in for this blood test. What made you go in case, there's somebody that, hey, I'm feeling a certain way, and it's just like that girl that was on, Coach Decora's podcast, maybe I should think about something like this. So what prompted that?
Yeah, so I have, since leaving college, obviously, I've been active playing soccer, and my girlfriends and I played at the Bisque, the Brookfield Indoor Soccer Complex.
The Bisque, okay.
The Bisque, yes.
That's not the kind of bisque I'm used to. I'm used to shrimp bisque.
I like the tomato
bisque.
Yes. But we were, just playing a rec league soccer game, and I'm running across the field and my muscles are aching. And I was like, okay, I'm not in that bad of shape. I haven't had one too many beers. I should be able to do this. And so I was feeling a little bit lethargic and, muscle aching. And my girlfriends were like, no, you just have low iron. You just need to get, go get a blood test. They'll give you some iron pills. You're just anemic. So said, fine, we'll just see. Maybe I can get some iron supplements, and went in for that blood test like I said, on a Wednesday. Went to Thanksgiving. Everything was fine. And then Black Friday, my mom has 9 brothers and sisters, and my dad has 10 brothers and sisters. So every family function.
If you're keeping score, that's 19.
Yeah. Imagine the number of cousins I have. And so there's always a party, but my mom hosts Thanksgiving on Black Friday every year. And instead of me going to that and helping her get ready for that, my brother was with me, and I was we went from Aurora to, then they sent me over to Frederick, and I got, admitted on that Friday. So,
by the way,
what were we talking about?
by the way, Aurora and Frederick are 2 hospitals known for, the excellence and care in the Milwaukee area, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that.
Because our listeners want to hear the rest of the story, and you gave us a little, teaser into what that's going to be like and what brought you to the podcast, I need to talk about the sponsor one more time. Buck and Honey's has been with the Survive and Thrive 8791 crew since the beginning, with 4 locations in the Madison area. One is always near. People ask me why Buck and Honey's. Owner Tom Anderson places a high priority on the mental health of his employees. He is a mental health professional available for them should they need support. I don't know how many businesses go above and beyond their EAP, Employee Assistance Program, but Tom Anderson and Buck and Honey's does. Jessica Salmonowicz is in the Buck and Honey's remote studios today to talk about her life and how she has survived leukemia not once, but twice. She's here to share her story of not backing down to cancer, and is doing a fundraising campaign to help others to not have to go through what she has. Mm-hmm. You'll hear about that and the work she is doing now. Please stay tuned. Don't change that channel. You're not going to want to miss segment 2 of Survive and Thrive 8791. We will be back.
If you, a loved one, or someone you know is experiencing a physical, mental, or emotional crisis, there is help and resources out there. Contact NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness Helpline, at 1-800-950-6264. This is a free service providing information, resource referrals, and support to people living with a mental illness, their family, providers, and the public. United Way 211 is available 24/7, 365, and offers free confidential assistance. They connect people with the local programs and services that can help. Dial 211. Emergency Crisis Services, dial 911. The Suicide Prevention Lifeline, dial 988. To connect via web, chat, visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. Along with those numbers, there is help. You just need to say 3 words. I need help. Now, back to the show.
We are back. Welcome back to segment 2 of Survive and Thrive 8791. I'm your host, Coach Tim Decora. We are in the Buck and Honey's remote studios on the east side of our great capital city of Madison, Wisconsin. The podcast is where we feature guests who share their story in hopes of helping others who may be struggling with what life throws at them. Today, I'm glad to be joined in the Buck and Honey's remote studios by Jessica, or Jess Salmonowicz. She is here to talk about how she received a leukemia diagnosis twice. You'll hear the rest of her story and how she's here to bring awareness to a really cool fundraising effort that she and her good friends are doing this spring. You battle a diagnosis, a leukemia diagnosis, not once, but twice. You would receive that first diagnosis on November 25th, 2011. We already talked about that. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you get a second diagnosis a little less than 2 years ago, July 25th, 2024. Now, each diagnosis, it can be different in one way, shape, or form. There are some similarities, for whatever reasons. The first was you were 29, vibrant young woman, taking care of herself, staying in shape. You met a guy that would eventually become your husband, and really a young woman in the prime of your life. And the second, you're a 41-year-old married mother, happily married mother of two, working in you changed locations from Milwaukee to the Madison area. Let's talk about that second diagnosis and how that came about.
I was actually in the process of being a surrogate for two of my friends, and we had a blood test done, and they identified through a genetic test that I was missing a chromosome, and they identified that there was linkage between that chromosome and actually leukemia. I was devastated. I had a plan with my friends, and so I had a plan with my friends to do this surrogacy, and then found out that it wasn't going to happen because I then had to go get a bone marrow biopsy, and it was confirmed that I had approximately 48% blasts. The blasts are the immature leukemia cells that, they're supposed to stay in your bone marrow and then mature and go out into your bloodstream to help you fight disease and fight illness and all of that. Well, I like to think of them as little teenager blood cells that just didn't want to mature and wanted to fight against the parents, and they can really take over your body. So anyways, that's what happened. I found that out and immediately had to start treatment again. So acute lymphoblastic leukemia is just that, acute. It's fast growing, it's fast moving, and that's why we have to take action very quickly and kind of attack it.
So somebody's driving right now and they're listening and they're glued to the episode right now for obvious reasons. I'm a little glued here. So what's the difference between the two quick?
Between what?
Between your first diagnosis.
Oh, right. Yeah. So the first diagnosis, I think it was obviously just shocking for the sheer reason of I didn't even know what leukemia was. It kind of came out of nowhere. Like you said, I was active. I was doing all the right things and living my life and enjoying things. And you're right, at the prime of my life, met the man of my dreams. I have to say that for my husband.
Check mark for him.
And it just kind of stopped me in my tracks and kind of made things a little bit more clear to me of, how important and short life is. And I had so much support from my school, like I talked about at St. Francis, and from my friends and family. But it was just me and Bill, and we weren't even married. And so it was kind of one of those things. Actually, when I got diagnosed later on, my dad made a comment that he said, well, this guy's a keeper. He stayed around when you were dealing with this diagnosis. He's like, I would have definitely left you.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, thanks, Dad. Question mark. So anyways, the difference was now it's 12, 13 years later, and by the grace of God, by whatever universe aligned, I was able to have children in the in-between times and was given that gift. But now their mom is sick again, and their mom has the potential to maybe not make it. And that idea kind of hits you real hard and hits you in a different way. And so it was very difficult for me to think about what life might be like for them. And having other people to think about aside from yourself, I mean, I can handle all of that kind of stuff on my own, but how are we going to tell them? How are they going to respond? How is life going to be different? And how can we maintain that normal atmosphere and environment for them while I'm going through something on my own?
That takes a lot of courage to talk about that and then bring that up and go through that mentally and think about those, going back to those conversations that you had to have then and those difficult talks. And there were some differences in that we talked about it, young woman, now mother of two and spouse, wife. But then there were some similarities that helped you get through this, and the fact that you were a former athlete. And I've heard people, when they talk about their diagnosis or something, they get some bad news, they go back to maybe some things that they learned as a former athlete that got you through. The physical part of you have taken care of yourself all of these, this whole time. And then you said your doctors said that played a role. How so? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, both times when I went in to, talk at Freighter and talking at the UW, it was like, you have set yourself up. You are healthy. You're a healthy adult. You are active. This is going to help build you up. And you have that strength already built up that you can reach to when you're at your low points. And I think there is that mentality that you get from playing, especially team sports, where it's like, I got to do this for myself, but I also got to do this for my team. And so there's that similarity of like, I had to do that back in 2011 and 2012 for, my student team and my family team. And now in 2024, I got to do that for my kids. They're my team now, them and my husband are my team. So there was a lot of similarity of, we got to do this together. And I was able to fight because those people were always there for me and they were encouraging me all along, and they had the strength, right? It's like you lean on your team to bring that strength when you can't have it. And there were plenty of times when I didn't have the strength and leaned on them, and they were always there. So, I actually talked to my kids about that. Like, we are a team as a family, and everything that we do, we're helping each other so that our game of life goes well. The other thing I was along those same lines is let's just say you were a freshman when you went through a freshman in life, because you're younger in your 20s. Yeah. And then you get to your like junior, senior year where you're a mom and you're older now and you have had some life experience. So going through this a second time, yes, bummer news. Yes, we're thinking of all these other things. But you know what? The competitor in you probably came out and thought, F this. Yeah. I'm going to do battle now, and I've done this once before, and now I know it's going to be easier to kick ass or whatever, but you probably had that mindset a little bit. 100%. I had way more hope than I did the first time. When I first went through it in 2011, there were some pretty dire stats on the internet. My grandpa even called my mom and said, this is only a 60% survival rate and all of these things. And so there were a lot of pieces of information that were coming our way that, didn't paint a very nice picture. But once I beat it, and then I said, well, it's been all this time. We've been working our asses off for Leukemia Lymphoma Society and Blood Cancer United and new research and new treatments. And I said, this can only be easier is not the right word, but it can only go better the second time around. And I knew that I had the strength because of all of the things that had happened in the past 12 years. I've also heard this as well, is that for those of you that get a diagnosis of some kind, one of the things I've heard was to not become an internet doctor. And a lot of people can do that, and there's a lot of different information out there.
the experience I've had with that is that there's find a couple of good reputable places like the Mayo Clinic. And get your if you're going to go for information, get it from there, or the Cleveland Clinic. And when things come up, those are the two sources I go to because that's their job. They're not trying to sell anything. So being
and that's what's great about Blood Cancer United is that's one of the pillars that they work toward is like providing that education based in the research, based in, all the studies. They provide that education. So like working with them and through them, you're getting that information that is based in science and based in,
research.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, and data. Since the show has a mental health component to it, you mentioned because of these two situations, some anxiety and depression, and they were, unfortunately, a couple of situations were built in, having kids and potentially not being around for, those things of graduation and when they get married and whatever, that probably can get your mind thinking way too far in advance versus what we got to do right now. What kinds of symptoms were you experiencing that had you troubled, that had you anxious or depressed?
Yeah, I was just reeling inside of my head. I just could not get away from my thoughts. I had insomnia. I could not sleep. I was up just thinking again and again about what my plans were and what I wanted to do and how this halted that and put a stop to that. And I couldn't really get past those feelings. And I say it was the saddest time of my life, the most depressing time of my life, because like you said, I have to kind of present this front to my children, that things are okay, that things are normal, while also being vulnerable so that they understood the heaviness of the situation. I kind of struggled between those lines of, how much do I show versus how much do I keep inside? And I really, really leaned on my therapist when I first got diagnosed. I went and talked to someone because I had to process all of this stuff that was going on all at the same time that I had no control over. I felt like I had no control over. That really helped me to just like chat with her and get through a lot of that stuff. But there definitely, even still today, I think about it daily about, what happened and what we were planning to do and how we couldn't follow through with what we had planned to do. And it still hurts.
How are you coping? First of all, there's a segment of people that are listening right now that, they're going to hear your 5 suggestions for thriving here in a little bit, but they want to know, I've got anxiety, I've got depression, what did you do? Tell us what you did. I'm still a non-believer in therapists and counselors. So besides the therapists and counselors, talk about maybe some of the things that people can do right now that helped you in the moment.
Yeah. For me, I kind of turned to writing. My friend started, it's called Give in Kind. It's basically just like a blog page that people can do, meal train and all that, but I could also do updates. So I just started writing, and I also did a Caring Bridge back in the day in 2011, and I just started writing, and it just I don't know, for some reason, for me, that writing got everything out, and I tried to incorporate jokes, and I tried to incorporate, funny things, and I would hear a song that day, and I would put the lyrics of the song on my blog, and it helped me to say, okay, I'm definitely not alone in this, right? There are, I'm a survivor is a song for a reason, because a lot of people go through a lot of different things. And so I started to connect to those words, and I wrote basically every day. My first time around, I wrote every day. I tried to write every day, when I first got diagnosed in 2024. And that has always been a huge outlet for me to cope with the feelings that I have. Like I have to get them out of my body and get them somewhere, somehow. Another thing I did was I got outside. I tried to walk every day. I have a picture of myself back in 2012, I think it was, where my mom got me this coat and it's got the furry, and I'm just like all bundled up. Yes. But I had to get outside. I had to be underneath the sun and just feeling, alive, I guess. So that really helped me.
I love the journaling thing because I look at it from a couple of different things. And you said it. I got to get it out. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you don't have a counselor, then you hopefully have a friend, pastor, somebody at the church, a coworker that you can trust that when you tell them something, you're not going to be the talk of the water cooler or, wherever. But if you don't have those things, pull out some paper, pull out an old notebook, and at least get them out on paper. And then you're kind of doing a little self-talk as well, is that you're singing to yourself maybe these lyrics, but most importantly, you're getting some of those things that maybe are suppressed in there, at least out on paper. And it's a good start. And then maybe you find a trusted friend, or maybe you go the far end route of, I'm going to get a counselor or a therapist. Yeah. Those are all great coping skills. Let's talk about what you are doing now. You received some tremendous support throughout both of your diagnoses, not only from your places of work, but your communities. What kinds of things made your most recent one, let's talk about that one, your most recent one, bearable?
Honestly, it was kind of a combination of two things. And, we kind of talked about this ahead of the podcast. But first of all, it was receiving the help and allowing the help to come in and knowing that it was going to make everybody's life easier. Everybody wants to help. So what are those different ways that they can help? I had plenty of people that took my kids to practices and, brought us meals and did all of these things that just, checked some boxes that I would otherwise be doing as the mom of the house. And it took care of those things. But then on the other side of that, it was also about setting boundaries. There were just some days when I just wanted to be in my bed and reading and not talk to anybody. And, kind of allowing people to call, to text, to whatever, but not necessarily responding because I just needed some time to really kind of process and be in that quiet space a little bit. So,
setting boundaries, I think, is another great coping skill that we all need to practice at some point. Let's talk about Team Unstoppable. You are hustling for a cure, and your fundraising campaign focuses on leukemia, but it's got a broader base now because of some rebranding that I found out. So let's I'm going to have you talk about Team Unstoppable and then the fundraising campaign.
So what we are fighting for is formerly known as the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. And what they realize and what we all realize is that there are multiple different types of blood cancer outside of leukemia and lymphoma. And so to be more inclusive and to be more open and aware to people that have other types of blood cancer, rebranded to Blood Cancer United. And my family since 2012 has been part of the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, Blood Cancer United, through a bike ride that we have in the summer called the Scenic Shore 150. So over the years, we've raised money and ridden our bikes, rode our bikes 150 miles every summer. And I have received so much support and love from that family. They have become another arm of my family. Just keep adding them on. And through that, learned about our campaign, which is called the Visionaries of the Year. So this is a 10-week fundraising campaign. It's a challenge. There are a number of other people from the Madison area that have signed on to take this challenge. And Desiree Canto is our Visionary of the Year, and she's a great friend of mine. We actually had kids around the same time, and we're neighbors, and she is a badass, and she is just a strong, independent, phenomenal woman, and I just knew that she would be a phenomenal visionary. And she has been in the fight, and her mom went through non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and you're going to hear more about her story on Thursday, but she also has she's relentless, and she just does not stop. And I knew that she would not stop in fighting for this battle. And it's been a really fun adventure for us to kind of go on. And so we decided on the name Team Unstoppable because we are both unstoppable to find cures. You know, like our whole thing is we want Blood Cancer United to be out of a job because we found cures for all of the blood cancers, and they have treatments that allow people to just thrive, you know, just like your podcast, not only survive, but thrive through all of that stuff. And we signed on, Desi signed on to do that. And I said, well, I have a pretty personal story to share that goes along with that. And so her and I formed a team of a lot of fun moms and aunts and uncles and cousins and family members and all of that from the Madison area. And we actually have a couple people from California and a couple people from the Chicago area. My aunt who worked at Rush as an oncology nurse. And so we have this phenomenal team of about 20. Well, we're all women, actually. So about 20 women, and we're just barreling through, and we're ready for this party to raise money and raise awareness and get some of those resources out to everybody.
So this episode is going to be launching on February 16th. I want the listeners to come back on February 19th, and you'll hear Des Canto's story as well. And you now have formed this Team Unstoppable, and she's going to talk a lot more about the live links that will be going live, so that when you click on the link, you can now then start donating and giving money. And if you have if you had a relative that went through this, or somebody or a neighbor, or you are just somebody that, hey, I've got some disposable income and I want to get on board with something, this is one that you can get on board with, and it's going to go to and your proof that with all of this research and this, care and treatment, that you can survive it. So you're proof that this money goes somewhere and it's getting the job done. Yeah,
what's really cool is actually some of the research that was used on the clinical trial I was a part of in 2011 was funded by LLS, now Blood Cancer United. So there's a definite direct impact.
You have a number of events coming up. Do you care to share?
Oh, I'd love to. We'd love to see you all at all of them. The first, our kickoff is February 19th, like you said, where we would start taking any donations that are available. But we do have some restaurant nights coming up, and our big kickoff is going to be at The Kickback in Middleton on Sunday, March 1st. There's Drag Queen Bingo first from 1 to 3, and then from 3 to 6, we are going to be playing some arcade games and sharing some of the cool events that we have coming up throughout our whole campaign, and a couple of prizes available, and just a fun afternoon. And then on March 12th, we're going to be over at Toot and Kate's in Verona at the wine bar. They are doing a give back night for us. So we're going to have some cool swag there for Team Unstoppable, and we're going to have some fun. And who doesn't like a little glass of either NA or regular wine? They got it all there. And then we're going to kind of cap things off with a pretty big party we're going to have at the Eloise out in Mount Horeb on Friday, April 17th, where we're going to have some silent auction items. We're going to have a band play. North and South is going to be providing some delicious food. And the Sassy Baker is going to be providing some cupcakes. And my Aunt Margaret makes gluten-free desserts, and she's going to be providing some of that. So it's going to be a fun-filled evening. And then the Eloise is going to have a signature drink for us that people can sip on and enjoy their time. So we're hoping that all of those events together can make a pretty big impact. And I think we're going to do that. So you're all invited.
Those people that right now are, I couldn't write all that stuff down. Is there a website or where we can go to donate, and then where we can get all of these dates? Because I want to mark all these down.
Yes, we do have a Team Unstoppable Facebook page, and so we can link out to that for everybody, or you can just look it up on Facebook, and then that has our links to our individual fundraising pages. So Des has a major page for like our whole team, and then we all have individual pages as well that we'll be sharing out on social. And then we do have some flyers that we're going to start passing around with the QR code that has that link as well.
And those of you that are listening to the episode right now on the 16th of February, if you go and click on those links, they are not live yet. You can't technically donate until the 19th.
Yes.
So somewhere, if you can mark that on your calendar, February 19th is when those links become live and you can start to donate on that day. This is where the subscribers, followers, and listeners take out the notebooks, pens, and pencils and jot some things down. Here are Jessica Salmonowicz's 5 suggestions that have allowed her to survive and thrive 2 battles with leukemia. And I think some of the stuff you've given out already today, there's just a lot of content here of how to get through tough situations. You can really apply this to cancer. You can apply this to depression, anxiety. It's just good stuff. So I'm sure they have already filled their notebooks already. But here's what you shared with me, and these are the 5 suggestions for thriving. And I'm going to toss these in underhand softball style. Can you hit a softball?
I used to play I love softball. Okay. I played as an adult. I played as a kid. So yes, I can hit a softball. Well, I don't know if I can now, but I used to be able to.
I like that. You can kick a soccer ball. I know that.
Yes.
But here's what you shared, and I'm going to toss these in underhand softball style. I'm going to have you hit these in about 60 seconds or less. And here's what you shared. Number 1, slow down. Go ahead and hit that.
Our lives are so fast-paced right now, and what I found is through these diagnoses, I had to. My body physically could not go at the pace that I was going, but what I realized in some of those slower moments was I was appreciating life a lot more and figuring out what was really important, and slowing down allowed me to find those gems and those moments that really matter.
Number 2, listen to your body.
Yeah. And so that goes back to 2011 when I was feeling those aches and pains. It's, your body better than anybody else knows your body. There were times in my second diagnosis when I was going through treatment and I was feeling some really uncomfortable things, and I knew that I had to go in and get some help. And it's not only that, it's now that I am past it, listening to my body of when I need to just take a day to rest, or knowing that my body needs that movement, knowing that my body needs exercise and to be filled with good, healthy food and all of that. That is something I've gotten very in tune with my body through these diagnoses. And so that's something that I think everybody needs to take some time to identify, what is your body actually telling you? There's social media is telling you one thing, but you got to just listen to the source of truth.
Number 3, pay it forward. Go ahead and hit that.
As you heard, I've just been enveloped in love and support, and I can't just hold that all in. And what I have felt is that paying it forward, doing that same thing for other people, I know the impact that has. I've felt that directly. And so I want to be able to take that stuff that's inside of me and have somebody else feel that same thing. And it's healing, right? It has a healing effect to be able to help somebody else, to be able to have the same outcome that I had and see that in other people. And I have had nothing but support from people that I work with, and they have shown me what kindness truly is. And, just thank you, Tim, for having me on the podcast. It feels very awesome to be able to take that light that was shown on me and reflect it out to other people.
Number 4, move your body. Go ahead and hit that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, some of the times I've felt the best in my life have been when I'm hiking, when I'm on my bike, when I'm walking through my neighborhood, when I'm playing sports with my kids. It's all of the awesome moments I feel. And when I think back, they are when I was moving my body. So I feel like it just helps everything in your body feel happier, feel better. And it's a great model for my kids that we like to go and move and get out there. And I know I said you should just rest and listen to your body, but I think that was one of the things that got me through some of my toughest days, was just going for a walk or just doing some easy yoga. And overall, it helped me. It was part of my healing process.
Excellent. And number 5, drink water. Go ahead and hit that.
I have no idea why. I mean, there is science behind it, obviously, but this idea of drinking water just sounds so silly. But every step of the way through 2 leukemia diagnoses, through pregnancy, through birth, through you name it, always the message from doctors and whatever was drink water, drink more water. And when we work out, drink more water. And honestly, it works. It makes your body feel better, fewer aches and pains. And it helps when you want to say something to your kid, and instead of saying the thing you really want to say, you take a sip of water and then you say, "And I love you." And
for the most part, drinking water is free.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Exactly. Well. No cost to that.
You women and what your bodies have to go through, and having a wife and a daughter now and a daughter-in-law, and yeah, your body goes through a tremendous amount, and women are just flat out tough in my mind.
Yeah.
And yes.
True. Unstoppable.
Team Unstoppable. What an episode. I'm so glad you could join the Survive and Thrive 8791 crew today. Your approach to life and how you managed to be strong through not just one leukemia diagnosis, but a second one, and how you've come through that and what it took for you to get through is inspiring. You've inspired me today. You've given me the feel goods and then the angries about, getting a cancer diagnosis. I'm angry about that because I've had to go through that with my own wife, and then come out the other side of, because of campaign, fundraising, that people are able to live through these is truly, truly inspiring. And you're doing some amazing work, sharing your story and bringing awareness to, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society rebranded. You're just bringing a ton of awareness to that. And if people have got money, they can put it somewhere. Our call to action, Jessica Salmonowicz just shared her story and how she has survived 2 battles with leukemia. She wanted to share her story and bring awareness to her fundraising campaign. Here are Jessica Salmonowicz's 5 suggestions to survive and thrive. Number 1, slow down. Number 2, listen to your body. Number 3, pay it forward. Number 4, move your body. And number 5, drink water. Final thoughts as we close another great episode of Survive and Thrive 8791. Are there any final thoughts? Jess Salmonowicz.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. This is inspiring for me to know that there's a podcast out there that touches so many people's lives and has such an impact on, just being healthy and waking up every day and having some positivity and having a ability to thrive. So thank you for providing us with that opportunity. And thank you to everybody that is listening and tuning in. And I do want to have a special shout out to Dr. Atala over at Freidert and Kim Johnston, my PA that I worked with a lot, and all of the nurses over in Freidert and the Cancer Center. I'm still friends with a lot of them on Facebook and check in with them, and really helped me get through my initial battle. And now working and being with the providers at UW, Dr. Sasrabudi and his team just has been so motivating for me to know that so many people care so much about finding these cures and making the treatments more tolerable for all of us. So the Carbone Cancer Center and all of the work that the Blood Cancer United team is doing to continually advocate for new research and legislation for continued advocacy for these causes, and especially for children, and finding cures so that kids don't have to go through this crap, because we all know they go through enough and we don't need this to happen to anybody. So just really grateful for all of that support, and of course to my family and friends and everybody that stepped up in big and huge ways, but also in small little ways. It really had lifted me up and got me through this.
That is so awesome. On our next episode of Survive and Thrive 8791, we will have another amazing guest in the Buck and Honey's remote studios who will share how they learned to survive and thrive. If you have a story to share, or you know someone who does, please reach out to me at tdecora@gmail.com. Until next time, hang in there with whatever you happen to be going through, and with hard work, dedication, and determination, you can survive and thrive. Until next time, take care.
Take care.